everyone, welcome to episode number 12 of AI Talks with Innovators. And today I have someone very special. Hello.
Hello, nice to be here.
Very nice to meet you. I have never had someone as experienced CTO as you in the show. Thank you so much for saying yes to me.
Thank you. In the intro you said, in the test you said successful, but I like the experience in the better way.
Who are you? Tell us about yourself. Matthias Laug, the CTO that Berlin City really needs the most. And you're proud of Germany.
Indeed. And Europe citizen first, kind of is also the story with the company I'm building now, but we can come later to that. No, been for 20 years now in the ecosystem of startups. Stumbled across it, didn't even know that existed when I've moved to Berlin, actually for university, and have just realized, there's a different kind of way of working, and got a hang of it. And then I guess just got lucky and learned over time to recognize those lucky moments. Started with Lieferando in 2009, which became an IPO in 2016, together with Takeaway after the merger. Repeated that with Tier, not at an IPO, but we've also achieved 300 million of annual revenues and got together with one of our competitors, Dot, at that point in time. And now had again this moment where I've recognized with two amazing people that I've started this new company, TerraSpark, and we have those low ambitions of powering the Earth. So bringing sunset, so satellites that harnessed the power of the sun, beam it down with microwaves to a ground rectifying antenna and transforming it into electricity. Now here I'm not the CTO this time, but I guess this is also kind of why I was reaching out to you, and we're now doing this amazing podcast format. Is all about that. I believe it's kind of my life thesis for my professional work now, that I think, what kind of CTO can I be now? I can be a scaler again, but on the one side, it's not that needed anymore. You see a lot of companies where the ratio between FTEs to revenues are significantly higher now. And at the same time, I could go into where everyone is going right now, into AI. But quite frankly, I'm not too good of an engineer for that. I think I'm a solid B2C engineering architect. I can build you anything that can be useful. I actually got more of a product angle on this regards by now. But now with TerraSpark, I'm not the one designing the satellites, but I'm the one operating the company. And this is from the later stage supply chain and industrialization of the satellites. But it's also about keeping the company's footprint small when it comes to legal, finance, accounting, people team, etc. So you're actually standing in front of that person who is not only leading, but is responsible for all of those departments at TerraSpark. And I want to keep it, department might be a bit of an excessive word there. I want to keep it as minimal as possible. And therefore here I'm looking for that use case to build an AI first company when it comes to the operations.
Yeah.
And here applying then again the knowledge that I have as a CTO, that I believe I can lead this digitally native, AI native.
Wonderful.
So being a user there.
Wonderful. And one thing I really like about what really senior CTOs talk about is not just technical. It's also all these words that can be understood by everyone else. Like, I really wanted to listen to all those sentences that you were saying. And I could understand it. Oh, I'm a deep tech guy. Like, I have been coding in the dark basement, dark mode for 23 years in a row. And now I'm listening to you and I understand that word. Kind of like, before we put the agenda of today's meeting, a few wisdom words from you to all the technical developers out there, all the CTOs who kind of like, they talk, but their talk is like so technical and a lot of people lose that attention span.
Yeah.
Educate us.
Educate you. No, it's, I think you're hitting quite a spot there. Like, language can be caused or can be used as a root cause for something that I've observed over the past 5 years, also by my own wrongdoing in the first 10 years of my career. And that is really that there is a distance between the tech department and and now this phrase, the business. But with all the companies that have been built in the past 20 years, that are like significantly successful, they're all digitally native, and it's something that should not happen inside of a company, that tech becomes more and more isolated and sits somewhere like those jokes in the cellar and hiding away, and you can't really talk to them and so forth. And that is something that I really wanted to like really take to the heart of myself. And this is where I'm doing like lightweight consultancy as well. It's really a passion project of mine, where I really want to make sure that people are recognizing that when they're starting as a CTO or a company, and they're just focusing on the tech alone and not on the strategy, the company building, the collaboration with others, their C-level peers, they are doing a huge mistake in the long run. And that is something that, I hold dearly at heart. So this is the recommendation. Once you see a distance between tech and the rest of the business, and language is formed, such as that's what the business wants, that's the priority for the business, we never have time for investing into our tech, you actually have an issue that sits with the CTO and not with the rest of the company.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get to the next step. So basically we are going to have like pretty much a build session, but as I said, like I want to have a lot of more questions asked. So you took a company to IPO, and that's not somebody do it every day. When was the time when you thought like it's the company that will go to IPO? Was it the first days? And which company was it?
You need to remember that I was building this company with a lot of other amazing people, obviously, during my 20s. So, like I've mentioned in my introduction already, I did know little about startups and digital-first companies and building apps, building websites, and making business with it. Never really thought about it much. I just recognized that they just appeared. Meaning, I did a lot of firsts in my 20s along the entire journey of Lieferando. And there was little times to reflect or think about how much of a crazy ride that is. It just happened to be. So no, I would be lying if I'm telling you that I sat there someday and said like this company is gonna go IPO, because I had literally no idea what it actually meant. Honestly, the first time we had a due diligence with an investor, I thought the investor's name is called due diligence. So this is how little I knew about all of this. I was just someone who cared a lot for what I built. And I think it's ultimately therefore also a reflection on what really matters for a founding team, for the first employees. They need to care for what they're building. And I was carrying that at heart, just simply through the understanding that what I'm touching, what I'm building, what I'm spending the majority of my time on, quite frankly, that this is something that needs to be good and be done well. And through that, I was carrying and compensating for a lot of shortcomings.
Yeah,
Easy as that,
absolutely.
in the end.
And when you say a lot of time, truly, entrepreneurs spend a lot of time on their ideas. But what is a lot of time? Like, is it 20, 30 hours a week, or is it 60, 70, 80 hours a week?
I get your point. Like, there's a lot of buzz on LinkedIn on like 996 and like 810.7, and everyone is making up random numbers. I don't necessarily think that you can measure it this way. It's that you have to spend those hours to get it done. The behavior that is behind those statements, those 996, that is required. And that is when you do something for the first time, when you do something that hasn't been done before, and the best startups are doing exactly that. They are disrupting and doing something completely different, or they're introducing something and being category defining. And therefore, there's a lot of steps you're going to take for the first time. So you will do a lot of mistakes. no matter how long of an entrepreneurial career you have, if you're not repeating the same business lines, you will do a lot of mistakes. And that 996 is ultimately stating when you fuck up, when you are doing a mistake, and that is purely due to you not knowing yet, you have to put in the extra hour to compensate for that. This is what I'm living by. Sometimes that means 24/7, and sometimes it means a usual 8 hours day. And that is fine. So I'm not having FOMO or concerns if I haven't spent 12 hours on my business today. It's about, did I achieve what I needed to be done? And whatever it takes that day, it will be done. And that is the spirit, what I think is behind it. So it's really about the behavior that you show. I think that is the core sentence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think after being there, not as successful as you were, but also 17 years, 6 companies, I can totally relate to that. Despite the fact that my company was going to face bankruptcy, and we entrepreneurs are kind of like this breed that want to give it the last try and make sure things are running.
Exactly. And I quite frankly, I'm personally not judging anyone based on the successes they compiled, because first of all, that would be a misrepresentation of the amount of failures that companies are usually. But at the same time, again, it's the spirit that people are going into. So if I'm seeing someone who starts their company and 2 months later they're saying, maybe it wasn't an idea, that I do judge.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you are in for it and you are fighting an uphill battle and you're not giving up and you are going out of that company with an like nose up and saying like, I did everything I could in that point in time.
Absolutely.
So I think this is success for me. Like, did somebody put in that effort? Because this is the people I want on my team. I don't care if somebody did 5 amazing startups before, but if I know by reference check, it's obviously what I need to do then, that they 5 times give their all on it, I find this far more inspiring than someone who did 2 successes and then tries to do the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was building VoiceKit, this Techstars company.
I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly, cool times. It was crazy. Like, we were heading towards a failure, but still every day we were like super pumped and we wanted to do something that changes the world. And I think that perseverance.
Hey, and there's a beautiful example of luck, because I think just your timing was off.
Yeah.
Like, seeing what happened now. You could be 11 Labs, you could be whatnot. So there is, sometimes it's just bad timing. Microsoft also once released an iPad-like piece of product, and they just didn't recognize the timing right. So
yes, absolutely. I mean, the idea of this kind of a technology where you actually can go in and build something that can talk to you, it was fascinating enough for us. And we were saying like, it's okay, if it fails, we'll learn a lot of lessons. And I think we were right in some sense on that,
100%.
because now we bring forward that with n8n.
Hey, it's the easiest.
Yeah.
It's the easiest to imagine breakthrough in interactions with a computer, and that's why it's known in, and that's why you also called it Kit, right?
Yes.
But you can even go so much further into the past. If there's one thing that everyone found to be, just makes sense. It wasn't beaming, it wasn't warp, it wasn't anything. It was, you are talking to a computer.
Yes.
And everyone got it. And so, yeah.
It was crazy times, really crazy times. Like, just for the context, Matthias was one of our mentors, one of the people that in Techstars, the LAN program, we really, everyone looked up to you, and especially with your success and everything. And when Matthias said Kit, VoiceKit does Night Industries 2000, or basically, if I quickly show it here, what we were building was a company, something like this. You can see it on your computer.
Yeah, I do see.
Oh, you do see it.
I just wanted to avoid to constantly look at my own
exactly,
face.
it's a lot of. So basically, what we were building was a voice AI agent that has like literally one interface, and it can literally connect to you and have like all these tools attached to it, and it has just one interface. And the reason we called it Kit was because we were actually trying to bring that vision of Kit, the Knight Rider,
Knight Rider.
in David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Or for those of people who are young, then this
Space
will be-
Odyssey.
Space Odyssey as well.
Exactly.
How's it called?
Hall
9000. Hall 9000. So we were trying to do that in Berlin in 2023, when actually there was no function calling in ChatGPT. There was no streaming. Therefore, our latency was 9 seconds. And afterwards, we kind of dropped it to 500 milliseconds. But no function calling. We were actually prompting ChatGPT and then running some regular expressions to extract JSON out of that. those cool times. And now I teach that on a monthly basis in a series of workshops that I'm running in Berlin, pretty much free, full day, 9-hour experiences that I was talking about, not only in Berlin, but also stream it online. And I have people from India and all over the place consuming that content. And then they say that, well, I learned something about voice AI. So that was all because of your help and mentorship. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So what we are going to do today. Today we have a little bit of a kind of tiny hackathon together. We're going to build something with n8n. n8n, we'll know what's that in a minute. And we're going to build something around RAG, retrieval augmented generation. You want to give some context? What should we focus on? And
so ultimately, the idea is that we've compiled a lot of content inside of Notion and Google Drive. And the general idea is that are usually quite complex and lengthy articles. Like we have a whole section on the topic of the way that we are defining the radio frequencies, the rectangles, and so forth, a lot of technical specifications. And it would always be good to pull this stuff out. And the other part is, due to the complexity and the amount of the content, like having the ability to cross-reference and understand whether all the content is still aligned. That is something,
So what we're going to do is, let me put my screens in order. So we're going to have like our cameras running here. We'll just have it a little bit aligned like this so that we can switch our screens. And we're going to build things on n8n here, and we might need to do some whiteboarding. So we're going to do some whiteboarding here. I'm going to put this up here. To be honest, I usually don't prepare for podcasts. It happens just like, but for this one, I did prepare a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of an intro of what we're going to build. But there is one section which we do not have any preparations in place. And that one will be something that we'll do together.
Okay.
That's the Gemini file search. So let's get to it. And let me quickly do this here. Like this one here should be good to go. I think this camera for me looks good. And I think that is good for your camera. We can give it a little bit more.
What an elaborated setup. I'm impressed.
Thank you. This is all my software, by the way. Like literally everything that you guys see here, like all these cameras, these little cameras and everything, it's all VibeStage, open source. I build it like literally for my workshops. I run workshops in an hybrid setup every month. Well, actually, throughout the year 2025, I did over 40 workshops. It's really intense, like almost multiple per month. So we're gonna do this.
It's kind of a question that I would actually have also to you. When you were setting this all up, and you've mentioned that you've all built this yourself. Since doing video podcasts, I would say is a section of a market that there should be tooling around. Why and when did you decided to just build this yourself?
Oh, good point. Like when I was like looking for something, doing these arrow keys and writing something on the screen, and I couldn't find anything. Like I searched around, especially this writing thing, and I
Okay.
found something, but then taking it to the next screen, because whenever you go in these other screens, this is called a virtualized, this is basically a virtual computer in here. Like literally this particular things are a
Okay.
virtualization happening inside. And then taking that here, and then like literally my requirements were like this, that I want to have it like this, and I can move around things. And I realized there isn't anything. And I say like, well, AI, VibeCoding rings a bell. And this is a lot of C++ going on, actually like Objective C++, and some Bridge and Electron.js apps and so on. As you can see, it's running right
Okay.
now in my computer. So I said like, why should I not build it? And then I started building it, and then the payoff was very good.
So highly specialized software for your use case.
Exactly. And these are like literally webcams. Like I bought them from MediaMarkt. And so
Okay.
it's working. It's working very well.
Yeah, because I'm quite interested in this. Like I've mentioned in the introduction, with the idea going COO is kind of a natural step for me right now. That I'm likely also have to build a lot of specialized software for my case. Yet I haven't seen yet a full-scale company that is like purely running on this. Like generally the idea that you only use platforms, Airtable, n8n, don't even know how to pronounce it. I tried to remember it when you said it.
n8n.
n8n.
It's like Kubernetes, K8S.
Okay.
It's a numeronym.
Okay, I guess we're like the 100th podcast talking about the name definition here, so I won't bother you with that.
So it's like this. Node, it's like Node.js, automation. And then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how it's n8n. And it's spelled in small, not in cap. That's the brand name basically.
So Nodemation.
Nodemation
is still the correct. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I'm not sure if anyone calls it Nodemation. It's
just
n8n.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
it doesn't roll off the tongue just that easily. But I guess that didn't hold them back from $1 billion valuation. I'm quite happy about that.
Crazy.
No, okay. But I haven't seen yet a company that has been like VibeCoding a stack for themselves. Because I also wonder, don't we just repeat what has happened in the 70s on steroids now? That every single company that could afford it was building their own stack, their own implementation. Like insurance companies and so forth have been doing this quite a lot. So I'm just wondering whether we're not just running into this. So I'm always trying to get feedbacks and insights from people who are starting this in their own company already, if I'm not going to go into a shit show there.
To be honest, I have no clue, because the cost of software is now so cheap to build. I would not be amazed if there will be these literally VibeCoding units in industries, like in big enterprises, where they will spin off a whole project just for as a POC before they decide to go.
Everyone becomes a CTO now then.
Everyone becomes a CTO, exactly. So I think now the camera setups are pretty good if we put it very small in here, so that we don't occupy too much of a... Can you position that a little bit towards your face? Nice. So that we have mostly covered like this. And this is my setup. Wonderful. So we have good vibes capturing from here, because I want to capture all the raw emotions we're sharing here. And we see how it goes. So what we are going to build is super simple two things. We have some Google Drive documents flowing in here, and some Notion flowing in where? In our n8n workflow. So we will have an n8n workflow that will literally have these n8n workflows. I like this. And then these n8n workflows will do one thing. They will embed in, so let's call it just RAG, no embedding, no retrieval yet. ragify it, I would say. And this n8n workflow will also retrieve it. So therefore, just one rag box, and then it will send it back. So that's the very simple solution that I'm looking for. So that's what I'm going to do together with you, and let's see where it goes. And especially with the Notion, what's the use case there? What do you have in mind?
Now, ultimately, question and answers would be actually a good use case, given that we've recognized that investors, due to the sheer amount of data, tend to not go through all the documents. We get a lot of questions that result in we compiling more condensed documents for them on those specific questions. Just so happened today. And it might be helpful if, in a way, that entire content has been structured together with all the other content. I know that Notion has its own AI agent, but it's limited to the Notion content. And we do have things that sit, as said, like in Google Drive in various forms. And we might at some point add additional information there as well, right. Such as white papers from other companies and so forth. And this I want to have combined, that if you have a question towards this, it's pulling together all the things relevant for it.
Wonderful. So the fact that actually the Notion has already AI is not the end of the game. We are not going to stop there because we have our actual pipelines built. So what I've done as a small homework is here. I'm going to quickly show it. So we have this little AI agent that allows us asking questions like, I have 2 CVs uploaded, so I'm going to ask, what is Jane Doe's profession? Should be able to hit this. There we go. It hit the Pinecone assistant. I'll come to this and see why do we need this. And then it should give, there is some latency. There we go. Jane Doe Senior HR Manager, that's correct, at least from what I remember. And then we will kind of like keep going on with that approach. All right, so the ingestion pipelines look something like this. There's a Notion page that allows me to ingest new Notion documents, and the Notion database that I have in mind to...
If I can hold you there, like what I would be... Notion has this notion of blocks, which I find always very difficult to actually put together in a processable form. I've seen that you're using some aggregation there already. I would love that you maybe dig a little bit through how you build this aggregation.
Oh, nice. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Indeed, this was exactly what I wanted to talk about by bringing my Notion on the thing. So when we open a Notion, for example, did I ask Jane Doe's CV? I asked about Jane Doe. So Jane Doe is an HR manager. You can see that the let me quickly make this like this so that I can easily swipe back and forth. So you can see here, I asked Jane Doe's occupation. It says it's a senior HR manager, but it's sitting somewhere here. But the problem is that if you select all of these, you see this is like as you beautifully said, notion of blocks. so these are little blocks. So that means if I have some content, I need some content, I'm just going to copy paste this entire block into a new item. Let's call it Smith's CV. Now, if a Smith has some content sitting here, it's going to be Smith Doe, so that I can trigger this workflow. I'll trigger it, and you'll quickly see what happens here. It goes through all of this workflow. It kind of like creates a vector database. We'll get to that in a minute. But what I'm interested in is in here. Look at this. 83 items. If I open this, it is basically a whole lot of blocks. For example, I just saw senior HR manager. It's just one block that has this little object that is occupying some information, like some metadata about it's a paragraph, its root ID is this. That means like it's underneath this particular item and its content is this. So in order for us to, what I'm doing in this pipeline is I'm eventually putting something into this Pinecone database. What is that thing? It's, as you can see, it's a markdown file. I'm generating a markdown file. What's a markdown file? It's basically a piece of content that goes like this. It's all just text, 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 text. And how do I get this is as a part of this pipeline. So the first thing is I'm aggregating all of these 83 items into one item. So I'm kind of like pulling them all together and putting it inside this one object so that I can collapse it and it's just one item. And then after that, there's this little tiny code node that I literally translate all these objects into a markdown string. So once it runs, this is basically vanilla JavaScript.
Yeah.
So this vanilla JavaScript takes every single thing and it iterates through it. It's not kind of like vanilla. For example, there are certain things that are n8n related. There is a $sign here, for example. This is not vanilla JavaScript. It's interpolation happening inside n8n, and there are quite a bit of them. This is how you access an expression in n8n or the variables of n8n. But other than this, it's entirely JavaScript. Vanilla JavaScript that you see on a normal basis.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the concept here, and it basically gives me one big pile of information. Yep.
And you're just throwing an MD file then into Pinecone. Where was it?
Pinecone. So Pinecone is this little vector database. It's a full suite of things. I will quickly show you here. So Pinecone is a vector database for scale and production. Has pretty good APIs when it comes to and also native integrations when it comes to n8n. And I think the companies like Pinecone are going to have trouble because of one thing that I have in mind. If time allowed us, we'll check it, which is called Gemini file search, which is so new to me as well. That's the cool thing about it. We're going to try it out if time allowed. So we'll go in and pull some APIs and put it inside n8n and then see how easy it gets. It's kind of commoditizing file search.
And Pinecone is taking care of any embeddings for you. So it takes the file and creates the embeddings and creates the ability to search a document.
Right.
With LLMs.
With LLMs. The LLM we provide on both sides while embedding and while retrieving. So if I quickly show this is, we're using I have quite a bit of information to share here when I start talking about so-called Pinecone assistants.
Yeah.
And especially our common friend Martin, DTM. I built the DTM chatbot using a similar concept, not from Pinecone, from another company, which you'll see it in a minute. But before going there, there's another way of doing it. You see there is, on this workflow, there is no embedding right now. But if I go in and find something else here, I have another one. A very simple RAG. So I think I have it somewhere that it's kind of a part of the advanced course that I teach. It must be somewhere here, enterprise grade. Not this one. Must have a RAG title on it at least. Simple RAG. It must be this one, yeah. So this is just the retrieval part, but at least it can make the point. What I was looking for is not this one, but it makes a point. So in case if we're not using an assistant, kind of like an off-the-shelf solution, what we would need to do is like put an embedding, pull it from a vector store, and then give it to a retriever, and then give it to an LLM chain so that it can pull it and then prepare it. And also, if we go to the ingestion pipeline, so the ingestion pipeline could look something like this. Again, we have like a text splitter so that we can do the chunking, and then a document loader, and then we store it somewhere in a vector database. In this case, being Supabase and Postgres, and also in here using embeddings by itself.
So why didn't we have that in our workflow?
That's the point. Like, I don't want to really worry about all the embeddings and everything, because this thing, this Pinecone assistant, is taking care of it under the hood, and they know way better than I do. Even if chunking can be done differently. If it's too small chunk, it loses the meaning. If it's too big chunk, it hallucinates.
Yeah.
All of that is done internally in here inside the assistant, and Pinecone engineers have done that. So it's a kind of abstraction on the top of the Pinecone RAG system.
So everything I'm reading about embeddings, etc., is under the hood done automatically just by uploading a file to Pinecone.
Exactly.
Okay.
So literally all the files that we just saw are sitting right here.
Yeah.
We'll use the APIs to upload them there, and we can create multiple assistants in here and so on. And if you want to go the normal way, this is the normal way. You create an index database and then you upload them, and then you need to really make sure that you take care of all these dimensions and the chunking and embedding and so on. And that is a lot of engineering work. If you want to spin off something, I would go with the assistant, so it's off the shelf. It's the same as the ChatGPT assistant API, but then on the Pinecone arena. What is this assistant API? This is basically a very similar thing, and there is DTM as this DTM bot called Mave. This is an extremely impressive thing that we have done at DTM, Deep Tech Momentum. And it has so much contextual information. Under the hood, it's not using Pinecone, it's using ChatGPT Assistant API, but very similar thing. So I can ask questions like, is Akim joining this conference, let's say? Now, I add a very, very vague question here. Who is Akim? He's a friend of mine, a co-founder of a company. I know that this is going, and then it just says, yeah, Akim Geppert is joining the conference. He is listed, Even there are kind of like company, and the quality of this was really good. If it was not because of that right technology, it wouldn't be that easy to build this.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you ever hit any limitations with this kind of assistance that you would only achieve with fine-tuning?
Yes. The limitation here is the number of documents you can
What is the limit?
5,000 documents.
It's not really a limit at the beginning, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna also do something very similar. And well, we already have the workflow, but I think it makes sense that I co-build it like side by side, and then we see how the things are flowing here. And from the Google Drive side, it's a very, very easy one. Google Drive has this trigger that allows you to download a file. And I'm looking for files into this RAG agent folder. Well, we will actually build this entire workflow side by side in just a second. Should we?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Okay, so then I have, I will just basically open a totally new n8n workflow and start literally from scratch. So the first thing we need to do is in our Notion document, whenever you create a Notion document, then you can go and create this so-called connections. I have already this connection, but you can add another connection. And when you manage connections, then you can add them. But once you add a connection, then you can authenticate this one connection on the top of one given database. So whenever something new is added here based on the API, it's basically long polling. It's doing a long polling approach, because if I here add a notion, one of the cool things about this company I like is the German perfection. It's a German company, right? So you see this little thing? We bought our product, guys. So look, I'm adding a trigger. Actions are collapsed. They could have had it open, but the mere fact that a product manager said, like, I'm going to collapse this thing when it is a moment of actions, this is what I think it makes this company great. So let's go add a trigger that says on page add to database. So not update add, but if you have like two triggers, it can work like this. If I have Notion add the trigger that says update, now I have basically two triggers. One's for triggering new added.
If I may, because we're doing everything spontaneously here, right?
Yes.
So instead of recreating that flow, can we do the update flow?
Yes, let's do that.
In the existing one?
Yes, I have not done it before. Maybe the object structure will change, but let's do that. So
because I'm really intrigued in like what is actually happening when I'm updating.
Are you looking for, is it a diff or is it an
Yeah, because
entire
content changes, obviously. I'm removing a document, I'm updating a document, etc. So how can I make sure that my vector database is always up to date?
Oh, you are putting me on the spot.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Now you're putting me on the spot. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. I think I know what to do, but let's try it out.
I appreciate that.
So I'm going to add a trigger that is a Notion trigger based on update database.
Correct.
So I already have the connection, so I'm going to use that. And this is the thing that I was talking about. This is literally long polling.
Yeah.
So the amount of engineering went into this is amazing, because we're drag and dropping things here. A small detour here is that when engineers, like senior engineers, talk to each other, aren't we brainstorming on whiteboard? Aren't we using these little diagrams, flowcharts, and so on? And that's what n8n is now.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like drawing things on the canvas, and then it comes to life, and that's amazing. What do you think about n8n and this diagramming things or flowgramming?
I think it's very convenient and easy to use. I hadn't had any limitations with it when building my workflows. There's a couple of things where the learning curve is a little bit steeper, and that is when you do branching and move things together, and then making sure that you can still correctly reference past steps.
I see the context building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't come naturally, and it's not really helping you with that. So I had a lot of times the point where I'm getting my workflows being like broken or require fixing because it states I don't know which one to reference now again. That was clearly a limitation that I had consecutively. Then I'm personally a big fan of doing things as much as possible locally. So this is what that's why I decided for n8n.
I see, because
that's the core reason for me to go there, and that I'm also happily willing to pay eventually once we're scaling out the company, because I think it kind of makes sense. But it gives me this pathway towards running it locally, and I'm a big believer that LLMs and globally available LLMs is just a huge research project right now. Making them globally available to gather all that data and learn on how to use the LLMs, get more learning data to train the models on, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I think what will win the race will be highly optimized small models that are higher efficient, not those general models. But the smaller ones. And the smaller ones will be able to run on smaller compute again. So as much as I'm VibeCoding myself in a highly specialized stack, I'm also training models into highly specialized things to do. And through that, being able to run this locally. And then n8n is really like the webbing of putting things together. And it was very easy to set up locally. It is very gracious and what is the word? It's very giving. So there's little to no limitations. There's a couple of convenient points like global variables, etc., that are not available on the fair to use license. And it's one of the only tools where I'm really saying I'm not feeling locked in.
Right.
So someone must have a great master plan behind the commercialization about it, because it feels like it's probably hindering a lot of people to pay for it in the end. But I find it's a more legitimate
I know
approach.
actually. It's if you actually see, it's open source, but there's a term called fair code.
Exactly.
And it's no other guy than Jan Obels himself, the founder and CEO. And fair code is this principle that Jan, with one more person, Kenneth, they came up with to say like, hey, it has to be fair for the open source builder, and therefore it's so much giving. You can build like everything, you can self-host it, but
maybe
it has to be fair.
Maybe that is the answer to the big outcry for Kubernetes losing one of its major open source projects, the Nginx Ingress.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody's supporting it anymore.
Oh, no.
Because it was people were never paid, and it's always expected, and it's the default ingress for Kubernetes.
Right.
And now it's gone, or it's soon to be deprecated. Meaning maybe those kind of approaches might be working as well. But I feel like you're stalling.
Yeah. From there, you got me. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how can I do this stuff?
Yeah, man, I'm seeing you switching videos there the entire time. Yes. So you obviously.
I am. To be honest, the CTO. Come on. Now these new wave of CTOs kind of getting into business, they know how to build software, because you thought about a corner case that I am now trying to see.
We don't have to do it, man.
No, let's do it. Let's do it, actually.
Okay, great.
Let's do it.
So you committed in the end yourself.
At the end of the day, what happens is we're going to fail, I'm going to fail, and document something cool. Because if it was like so cookie cutter, and I'm going to come here and then drum the rolls, and then everything is going to work.
Let's fail miserably.
Let's fail miserably. All right, so what we have now on the canvas is an update trigger. First thing first, I would like to make sure that I'm not going to pull anything from those ones. So this is important, that it only pulls things from this n8n test. This is this one. And if I fetch the test event, what comes out of it? It is the smets CV. That's nice. Well, this already went through one workflow. Not sure why did it come back. Nothing was changed.
I guess create and update is probably the same.
Exactly, triggers
in the
the
beginning.
same database.
Let's change his name.
We will.
Okay.
But I want to do one more thing here. Is if I fetch it again, it keeps coming until I consume it. So that's fine. What else I want to do is I want to pull this document. So if I pull Notion, and then Notion has this Git database page, because I already have this page ID, I can literally go and say, hey, give me this page, all the metadata of this page. So I'm going to pull this out. And then you can see here, I have the URL, I have all this information. So basically, what until here I've done is I got myself the database that is updated. So what will really change now is that when I create get the blocks, so get many child blocks, because this is the one that's gonna pull again by ID. This is the ID of the page that it's looking for. And I'm looking forward to get all the blocks from here. So if I pull them, now it's that 83 because I copy pasted Jane's CV, so it's the same amount of blocks. So I got all of these ones. Now we have this workflow in a place, in a position where we can literally click this and then see the workflow run 83 items. Now what I want to do is change something here. For example, I want to add a middle name.
He's
to
now the
Smith.
VP of. Let's change his title.
Let's change title. Senior HR manager. He's not senior anymore.
Exactly. Demote. Maybe removal might be. Let's change him to a VP.
Oh, okay. So VP HR manager
Of VP HR.
of human resources.
Yes.
So he was just
hate the name, but human resources.
Exactly.
It's like
resources inside.
Pile stock.
All right. So I think it's saved. Now we're gonna throw this thing before even rerunning it. Let's find out where was that object setting. One thing that the UI of n8n has I like the most is the search. So there was something HR, senior HR, right? So if I put senior HR manager, you'll see all the instances where it was pulled out from. So there is this one block that we have. Now exactly where it is. We can also do it like this. Senior HR manager, at least not on the first page. Not on the second page, so much behind. Let's find something which is on the first page and then edit that in the original page so that we don't.
I think you just deleted it. That's why it's not showing.
No, I didn't rerun it. So this running is from the previous.
Which is great. We need to look now for the vice president.
A piece of text that is on the first page, and then we can come back to the object.
Okay.
So for example, CPTO is a heading. So that name is one thing that we can change. Senior here. No, I found it. So it is literally on the first block, 2 blocks down, okay? So 1, 2, the third block should be the senior HR manager. I'm gonna just, for the sake of reference, pull this as a screenshot, keep it here, and rerun. And then we see what is going to happen to this poor guy when it comes back. And as I thought, it's a full dump. It's not a diff. So 1,
there it
2,
is. There was already
3.
Yeah.
This one. So VP of it's a full dump. So what do we want to do? Should we get the diff? It's a little
exactly.
bit
We could do a diff via the MD. So store the MD when we are pulling it on create. Then do a diff on the ND. Or it's just the open question ultimately, like how do I actually do changes towards any vector database when I want to, or even delete data? Like that could be the simplest form.
Yes.
I delete, when I get an update, I delete the document that I can reference somehow and get
dump it again.
Like surely.
So this is the good thing about going for off-the-shelf solutions like this assistant, because all the complications, all the edge cases are done by the engineers at Pinecone. Are on OpenAI when it comes to Assistant API. So what I will do is I will just go and do the following things. Before even running this, since the ingestion happened, I'm going to go and do the following. This one should already know CPTO's position. It should know the old position. What is CPTO's position? So if it says senior HR manager, that's correct because it was ingested from previous run. And then we will finish the workflow that we have just started earlier. And then it should do the, there we go. Perfect. So it says senior HR manager, that's perfect. Now let's go to this one and finish this workflow. And I believe it should update it. And how does it do it? It's under the hood. It's the Pinecone's magic that's happening.
But how does it recognize then that it is the same document or it's new? Or
it's vectorizing it. So it's vectorizing the entire similarity of the document.
This is where I'm getting lost.
Oh, it's
like this magic.
It is super magic.
This is what I mentioned in the beginning. Going down as a CTO for an AI company, I'm not too good of an engineer for that. So
I did a master's degree in AI in 2015, and
I did my bachelor in it, but
it was a long time ago, right?
That's 20 years ago.
When I was in Koblenz University and doing my master's, my professor was, I was sitting in the last row, maybe it was my fault, was explaining something called neural networks.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of these layers and then lines and then bad end drawing. And I was like, what is that? Can I build something with this?
I know that whenever I had to do my homework and we had to train a neural network, that I had to run it overnight, and then it's praying
It's gonna not break.
that it's not breaking during
Because
the
then
night.
you're running it again from scratch.
It's terrible. So yeah, artificial intelligence was definitely not a subject in which you could procrastinate to the last minute.
Absolutely. It was not cool.
No.
It's not cool enough. So let's go back to the cool things.
Yeah.
So these are the two things that I have done personally myself.
Yeah.
Nothing so cool about this. There is something I believe that n8n will release very soon. I don't know. By the way, as an n8n ambassador, we have the Slack channel where we get access to early releases. We don't have that on the roadmap yet, but this thing. If you go to something called Notion Converts, this is a good repository that has a lot of things, but among the a lot of things, they have an npm package that is Notion kind of n8n Notion to MD. It's an npm package. So if I get this inside my n8n workflow, this would be the game changer. Right now, there's a big business opportunity. Whoever is listening, you build a kind of like what was the thing called? There was an ID on the internet. Code Sandbox? No, not Code Sandbox. Yeah, Code Sandbox.
Yeah.
So something like Code Sandbox, an integrated environment, but specialized for n8n. So that I can run n8n somewhere and then do an HTTP request, comes back to me. Because it doesn't exist right now. I just checked last night. I had to like literally spin off a node server to get this. And then I realized that, wait a minute, what we currently do here is literally JavaScript. Why do I need a code sandbox? So literally the next steps here is going to be just pure JavaScript. So I don't need an actual code sandbox. So what I need is something that aggregates them. So we already have this aggregate feature that says like all the items that are going to come, I want them inside one data item. So that from here onwards, the way n8n works is it executes from left to right. And whenever we hit these numbers, that means anything executing from here onwards is going to execute 83 times.
They need to work on their icon there because I always confuse the aggregate for putting multiple branches together.
Oh yeah,
that's merge.
Exactly.
It was always misleading for me.
They have another branch.
The merge,
called
yeah,
merge.
Exactly.
If you have like 6 branches coming in and then you're merging it.
Yeah.
I also same pattern. I think it's an engineering concept that confused both of us.
And whenever I have the merge in, I'm usually losing the context. So I've never used this one correctly. But okay.
So that's all it does. It basically pulls all of those items, puts it in one. So from here onward, I get only one item that does everything that I'm looking for. So this piece of code is doing nothing but just one thing. It has a bunch of functions like decode escapes, a block to markdown. So I know what a block can look like, and then I basically pull all of those blocks. And I train, like literally VibeCoded this JavaScript on one block. It can have like certain blocks that will not work. So therefore, I will just use this. And since we are using exactly the same document, but there must be a better way to do this. Like literally find multiple not n8n, but Notion documents, enhance this function that I already have here. So I'm going to just copy this. This is one thing I really like about n8n is like everything is JSON. So literally what I just copied here is just a piece of JSON. Like look at this. It's all this JSON that's sitting inside my my clipboard. When I come here and then paste it, this whole JSON would work just off the shelf as it would work like here. All right, so now if I execute this, what will happen is it pulls all those 83 items and then it loops through it, and then it gives me one big chunk of markdown data. So this markdown data is something that we can work on. Since this is an update and I really don't know what's the outcome, we're gonna figure it out in just a minute. All right, so I have all the document setting in here. What I will do next is we need to convert it to a markdown, to a kind of like a text file, because the API that we have here from Pinecone, it's basically accepting a file, a binary file. So just to put this short, I'll just bring both of those items here.
Mm-hmm.
All it does is it basically brings in these two together, and what I have in place now is it takes all of this markdown. So what we got here as an output of this is basically just a big markdown. And this trigger, it's a native, not trigger, a node. It takes the markdown file, and then it basically creates a file of that, like whatever is the name, and then the name of that person. Actually, the reason is because we started with this, and then Smith-Doe is now VP of Human Resources.
Let's see.
I am so worried about this.
Let's roll it. Let's see how smart that assistant is.
Let's roll it. If this is a good thing about this. If it fails, it's not my failure. It's Pinecone's failure.
Exactly. It's the assistant.
It's the assistant.
It's the assistant. Let's blame the assistant.
Okay, let's blame the assistant. So if I run this, it gives me now the converted file. So basically, it's a file that I can literally download on my system, and it looks something like this. Now it has on the header VP of Human Resources not.
Okay.
Fingers crossed and run. So there we go. It's literally submitted it to the Pinecone's assistant API. The status is in processing. So the best is to use.
I was about to ask how quickly that went. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's running right now in the background. If we go to Pinecone, you should see some indexing and chunking and so on happening here if we are on time. Otherwise, it has been already finished somewhere. Yeah, it's I think already finished, this one.
Oh, at the top, yeah.
It's Smith's CV, I think. Either of these two. So now it's done. Apparently, it should just tell me that based on the timing and so on, like it was different.
Let's see, same question.
If I submit the same question again, what I see here is, come on. Please don't fail me. I bet my career on you. No, it's still thinking that it's senior HR manager. So Smith-Doe, did we actually pick Smith-Doe? Did we pick the right person? So this guy is VP of
Smith-Doe, yeah.
Let me actually do some prompt injection here. Can you double check more documents? I think he got a new position. It's just like kind of emphasizing to pull more data. Name of the person, Smith-Doe. Oh, I see. Why it's,
which would mean it's then two documents right now, right?
Indeed. It will pull it, but wait a minute. The reason it keeps asking and it doesn't remember is because it doesn't have a memory. So let's give this a simple memory, and let's say 10 context window, and ask the same question again. Now I see. So it's I'm kind of influencing it to give me the right answer, but you get the point. There you go. I see now it gives the right answer. You see that?
Yeah.
But this could be because of my prompt, because I kind of like influence it to say, hey, go double check, and then it went and then pulled all the documents.
Then restart from a fresh...
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like we are gonna literally copy this URL, this question, and then literally refresh the whole page, and then ask them, what is the position that Smith-Doe holds currently. Even change the whole question so that we can see what's the answer here. And please, yeah, it is. If it's this thing 2 times, senior HR manager, no. This is basically a very good re-ranking.
Okay, and now the double checking.
Yeah, double check it, please. I'll just not say that he is holding a new position just to see if senior HR manager. It's because he's always pulling that particular item. So what we
can I reference this document probably somehow and then just say delete it and then
exactly. Let's do that. So the thing is that this document, when we pulled it, it has an ID.
Yeah, exactly.
A unique ID. And the way we stored our Pinecone data is like this, like a file name and a thing. And the way it came back to us when it stored it, it also gave us an ID. So we can literally take the ID and then index it somewhere and then remove it back. So I don't know exactly the API of that particular delete feature, or there might be an absurd.
Yeah, but now using maybe the native instead of the assistant, the native Pinecone tools in n8n, you probably can delete an index.
Well, that is a good point, but
here,
it has
retrieve
very limited. Yeah.
But what is update vector store documents?
That's retrieve documents, update vector store document. It is literally by ID, and then we enter an ID.
And
that could be the.
What is to be? Okay, but now you need to use embeddings again.
Don't we have absurd? No, we don't. No, the whole concept will change because under the hood, assistant is using one vector index database. So I wouldn't do it with the Pinecone's native ones, but with I'll just find Pinecone API,
the API call,
that is not for uploading files, but is for
deleting or absurting.
I think there must be some absurd files, so let's quickly do that.
But the absurd needs to be using the assistant again, so I rather think we need to look for the delete.
So this is what I have in mind. So the assistant holds the documents, and the documents already threw me an ID. So when I added when I uploaded a document, it sent me back an ID of that particular file. So if
But my point is we cannot instruct the assistant. So we can only upload a file, it picks the file and does something with it. So
even if it gives me a delete file, then that's it. So I always delete it and then insert a new file.
I just don't think, I think it always does insert. I think the assistant will always do insert.
Yes, in this case, yes.
So
even if I can.
So I would put maybe like an if branch and saying like, get a document by this ID. If you find it, delete it. And we need to store in a key value store.
Correct.
Now, ultimately, all the IDs of the
Notion
titles
page and the document that's indexed inside. Exactly. That's my.
So not even the title exactly. The Notion ID and because those are the immutable. Those are the immutables.
Those two IDs needs to be stored, and then we should be good to go.
So we could use a Redis or something like that, or simple storage, like an in-memory storage for now.
I would do only this one thing.
Yeah.
It's just one thing. If I take this here. Can you please take this n8n node, which is an API call to Pinecone, and search the internet, especially the Pinecone latest documentation, and find out and create an n8n delete document API call for me.
So I was able to Google this faster. It's /vector/absurd.
/vector/absurd. No, this is not for assistant. I want.
And you want it explicitly for assistant.
Pinecone documentation. Old school. Okay, let's go to old school documentation. Assistant. So assistant, Pinecone assistant has upload data, upload files. They must be absurd. I'm not more interested in absurd. I'm more interested in delete. So that if I get the delete, so upload files, chat, standard, because I already got the ID of that. So
it's then rather delete.
Manage files. Could it manage the same file?
Delete vectors /vector /delete. Yeah.
/vector /delete.
And then ID is a list of strings.
As a post. So
it's a post /vector /delete. Yes. Where do you want me to send it?
On WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp. Sending a message around the world.
And then coming back in the same room.
Here you go.
So it's going to be this one. We're going to use this. So delete. I think it's delete operation by ID from single namespace. It's going to delete the entire. It's going to delete it's based for the entire database. It's the indexes approach. What I want is the assistant one. So insert absurd vector. Yeah, it's deleting not a single file it's deleting the entire database. So delete operation deletes the vector by ID from a single namespace. What instead I'm interested in is deleting this one file. So this file. Where is this file sitting? It must have an ID. So this ID.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same ID as the one that was returned to me here? When I inserted it, it was 5310. It's a little bit different. But if I at least can get this ID and then delete it programmatically, then I have access to this. So
exactly. Like it's definitely inefficient in regards to
absurting,
yes. But it will do the job.
It will do the job. So let me see what this thing brought back to me. So here, you see, it creates the assistant file ID. All right, so I think this should work. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna add a manual trigger here and this HTTP. Okay. Where is my HTTP node? If it gets a little bit, it's okay. I will just take this and add an HTTP node myself.
Post.
Is it a delete? No, it's delete. It's a delete.
Wait, is it? It's a delete?
So it's a document delete, and this is the file ID, which I already have it from here. Where do we get it from? Because that API is not returning, but that's another POC that we can run separately later. And then it's going to be, which authentication layer is it going to go through? It has to be, I'm going to pick it from this HTTP request, predefined Pinecone API, and then Pinecone. Okay. It would be much easier if I do it like this. And then this one will go here. And this goes as delete. And there you go. So, moment of truth. Okay, we don't need this field.
Yeah, exactly. Send body not required.
Body is entirely not
send body is not required for delete at all. Yeah.
So response format text. Not sure what's.
It expects JSON apparently back. Maybe you need to add on the options, I guess, a different accept header. or that's the exact error.
Response body is not valid JSON.
Response parameter to text. Response format to text.
Where do you
Send
see?
header. I think it's
Send headers.
Send header, and then the field below, and then
Like this? No.
no, it's the like accept.
Something like. Let the LLM decide what to do.
It's an accept header.
I remember the accept.
It's just accept and then text or plain /text.
Like this, right?
Yes. The resource could not be found.
Perhaps it already deleted it before, and then the response was.
True, because the response code is definitely on the client side.
So let's check it out.
This old dog has still tricks.
I think it is gone. Yep, I think it's still 2.
Yeah, but those are the ones that have. Oh no, it's still there.
It's the same one. No, that's definitely not worth.
I think that is now the classic hallucination.
No, but look at this. It's a different ID.
I try it again.
Look, it's a different ID.
Otherwise, I'm putting my bets also on the LLM just decided that if there is a response header again.
No, the response. I think that we're doing the response incorrectly. This and other. Let me bet on LLM VibeCoding. And
can you fix this?
Absolutely.
So contextual of you.
I'm too tired of explaining to these smart LLMs anymore. They're good in OCR. They can pull things out. So let's see if it fixes it. Otherwise, but basically the idea is clear. So it's just observing and deleting something, and then we should be good to go. But also, what I'm not really sure about is this API. If this API is correct or not, because this can be the hallucination coming from.
That's what I mean. Like it just says like there's a get in the API documentation, so there must be a delete because we're just all restful here.
It is assuming it's a
exactly there. Because that I had a lot of times that API endpoints are being hallucinated massively.
And I'm not sure why isn't there a kind of like a specific small tiny LLM only for documentations, specialized LLM.
There you go.
So, anyways, this is taking time. I think we're hitting our time limit. In 3 minutes, you have a hard stop. Can we?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes. But I was insightful. Like I definitely learned a couple of ins and outs there already on the vector database. So I underestimated its capability to do a lot of things out of the box. Like I did not know about the assistant, for example. Yeah. I thought I need to do all this stuff myself, and so it was quite helpful.
Thank you. But I should have not accepted the challenge. No, but it's like literally, if we conclude it this way, you have the documents coming in. The reason you guys saw that when I prompt injected before, it could pull both the documents, and then it could say that he is now a VP of engineering, Smutto. But next time it didn't, because it was only pulling one document.
I think I think this hour is a beautiful learning for where vibe coding and quickly putting things together fail. Like putting a document quickly in is one thing, but then making it useful for like updates, etc., and all of those things, that still requires a little bit more attention and understanding. And specifically, it still frightens me that we've used this assistant now. Yeah, I will use now the assistant because again, it allows me for quicker accessing what I need to be and what I need to do, but it also avoids that I'm actually learning how to use the vector base correctly and in the best form and way. Yeah. And now, once you are hitting now such a problem, you're again lost. So the amount of abstraction that is happening right now
It's quite a bit.
It's quite something.
Yeah,
it started with Kubernetes and infrastructure and platforms.
Absolutely,
and now we're here.
Serverless architectures, and then we started losing that. The distance between the actual things happening and
I think engineers will be still required for quite some while.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going jobless anytime soon.
All right, amazing. That was cool.
Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise. Thanks for stepping by.
Much enjoyed this session. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, guys. I just arrived back from the amazing podcast I had with Matthias. It was amazing. Unfortunately, we ran out of time and we couldn't finish the last minutes. And it took me like literally 2 minutes. I'm right now in the co-working space. And it literally took me 2 minutes to find out exactly what documentation we're looking for. So let's, as a closure of this little amazing podcast, show you what is it gonna be and how can you do it. But actually, I have decided that I will do another tutorial series, a very detailed one, to show exactly this thing end to end in a very full n8n workflow that will take in just all your Notion documents, make it searchable not only from Notion, but also from the Google Drive side. So let's see how this thing works. So the documentation that I was looking for is this one. Well, actually, this is for upload. What I was looking for is this one. I already have added it. We'll just check it in a minute. So let's go here. So you can see here when we are ingesting these documents, let me quickly ingest this one more time and quickly go here. Okay, so we don't have any files here. As you can see, there we go. It's just processing. It's coming from that n8n workflow that we just uploaded. And there you go. It's now uploaded. And now we get this file ID here, okay? And this file ID is exactly as the file ID that was uploaded here. You can compare it here. D, FA, FA, and D. So now the next thing we need to do is, or in that tutorial that I'll be producing, is that right after this, we're gonna create, potentially the best place for this would be data tables. So I'm gonna put like a data table, I'll insert a row. But since this was like an abstract tutorial to kind of like touch bases, I want to kind of like point you guys to this documentation. And this is the delete endpoint. And if I execute this, so you can see it is throwing back this. And if I go back to this Smith thing, this is gone. The Smith file, there you go, it's gone. So basically what we need to do is hit the endpoint of insert, store the data, like the ID of the file across the ID of the Notion page, and then after that we just basically throw away the document before inserting it again, and that way it should index it properly. So that was a quick check of this, and let you guys know that this is existed, like this is right there. The assistant delete file, that's exactly that endpoint that I was looking for. And it's just there. And it was an amazing podcast. I have not had a preparation to kind of like delete files. This assistant thing was a very new thing I just did last night. But Matthias got me off guard and I want to go the extra mile. And it was just like a matter of time because we ran out of time. He had a meeting in 3 minutes. He was so nice. He didn't say anything. But apparently it worked out. So with that, now this is the final bye. See you guys in the next podcast. Bye-bye.